Good morning, everybody. Today, I'm going to share a story, just like every morning. I had to go take my little brother to school today, and that's why I'm not on my bed this morning talking to you. But I figured it was nice and quiet here in the car. Why not? Alright, so my story today is about my dad. We used to live in Pennsylvania, and when we lived there, my dad owned bees, and he'd go out there about once a week to look at his bees, kind of move things around, see how the honey's coming, things like that. And he got into the habit of not smoking the bees before he opened it up and to do his thing with the bees. And he'd always wear his white bee suit, so he was protected. And the fact, so he thought he didn't need his to smoke them. So this one day, he was working, and this one bee starts crawling up his neck because it found its way between the helmet, and it started, and he's like, "Oh boy!" He's like, "Okay." So he's trying to hurry up and finish what he's doing, but that bee decides to go into his ear, and he's like, "Ah!" And without thinking, he smacks the bee. But at the same time, it knocks his hat off. Now, you can imagine all these, angry bees go... And he's like, "Ah!" So he starts running down this hill. And at this time, we had 2 lakes. And his best option to get rid of all these bees was to run to the lakes. So he has to jump over 2 fences, by the way. These are barbed wire fences. My dad's a big guy. At this point, I think he was 250 pounds. So he's pretty big. So he kind of rolls over these fences, runs into these thorn bushes, because there's huge thorn bushes between him and these bees. But who can tell the difference when you're being stung by all these bees? Anyway, so he finally gets to this lake and jumps in. Like I said, it was summertime. So these lakes have pretty much all dried up, except for there's 3-4 feet of mud, and there's 6 inches of water on top. And so he just douses himself with this mud and the bees, and so he managed to finally get rid of all the bees. The bees leave him alone. But as soon as he wipes the mud off his face, here comes this swan. This male swan, because at this time we also had swans. A long story, it came with the house. Male swans are very territorial, and this swan comes up, all puffed up, and bites my dad and starts beating him with his wings. And then my dad's like, "Ah!" He's had enough, and he grabs the swan by the neck and just throws him. And then the swan leaves him alone. He gets out of the swamp, or the little lake thing, and starts walking up the hillside back to the house. And this is the point where I see him, because I'm out, I think I was 10, and I'm playing on this swing or jungle gym, and here comes Dad up the hill in his white bee suit, but it's no longer white because he is from head to toe covered in mud, and the only thing that's not covered in mud is his eyeballs, because he's wiped those off. And we're like, "Dad, what happened?" And he's like, "Go get Mom." I mean, he just did not want to talk about it. And we heard about it I think it was 2-3 hours later, after he took a shower, and Mom spent the next 2-3 hours picking every one of these stingers out of the top of his head. And they counted, and they had 32 stingers. It's a good thing he wasn't allergic, or man, he would have died that day. He still had to work. He's a teacher. He used to teach computer stuff. And he went to work all swollen and nasty. Anyway, that's my story. So, it was a fun story. I like telling it. It's fun. Yeah. How's everyone else doing today? You guys doing good? Well, you guys are cool. Stay awesome. Ciao.